What's going on, guys, and welcome to another Overwatch video by me, Infinite Crow. Today's discussion will be on whether Orisa is D.Va 3.0. Now I'm sure you're aware that Orisa is the new hero based on the OR15 robot and built by Effie. Unfortunately, I can't bring you any footage of Orisa. Orisa is actually on the PTR, but unfortunately I play on console, so cannot actually bring you that. Hopefully I will be making a video at some point outlining some of the reasons or possible reasons why the PTR is not on the consoles, and if it ever will be, but that's a different point. In the speculation period of before Orisa was announced, it seemed most people were thinking that the new hero would be a Reinhardt replacement, not necessarily replace Reinhardt in the meta or make Reinhardt any less of a decent pick, but someone else that could do Reinhardt's job, or something similar to what Reinhardt does. But now we've actually got details of Orisa, now she's actually been released. Then it seems actually that Orisa's actually more of a D.Va replacement, and it raises the question, was the nerf to D.Va that happened a month ago or so now, I believe I haven't got it in my notes, was that actually to do with Orisa being launched? Before I address that, we'll actually go through some of the stuff for Orisa, sort of what a primary fire and all that lot is. Now she's got a primary fire or primary attack called Fusion Driver, which is an automatic projectile weapon. Now it's important to note that it's a projectile, so Orisa will be firing projectiles and won't be a hit scan hero. Now she fires a large number of rounds, I think it's 200 or 300 per magazine, and similar to D.Va, while firing this, Orisa's movement is slowed, similar to D.Va's. Orisa also has Fortify, which is a temporary buff to damage reduction. Now when firing this, she'll take less damage for a short period of time. I'm not aware that it's actually been released what that percentage damage reduction is as yet, but I'm sure we'll find out soon. Orisa also has a second ability called Halt, which launches a graviton charge. This is a little like Xayah's ult, but nowhere near as powerful. Obviously Xayah's ult pulls in everyone from around and holds them sort of in that gravity well, but Halt only actually sort of pulls enemies towards it, and that is it. It seems to be more of a disruption tool rather than any ability that helps to eliminate the opposing team, though obviously with any ability we have the ability to push or pull opposing enemy team around. Then I can see on maps like Lijiang Tower and Nepal that people are going to get knocked off the edge, similar to how they do with Lucio's or Pharah's abilities. Now what led to the obvious comparisons to Reinhardt is that Orisa has a protective barrier, which he throws out and which sort of stands on the floor in front of her, and I believe it takes 900 damage to get destroyed. Now, unlike Ryan's, as I said, this barrier is on the floor, not attached to you, so any movement by you will leave the barrier behind. Now, Orisa's ult is called Supercharger. Not necessarily keen on that name, but we'll see if it sticks. In which Orisa deploys a device which boosts teammates' damage, as long as that teammate is in the line of sight. It seems from initial reactions it works a bit like Mercy's damage boost, but obviously can affect the whole team. So simply, it seems that Orisa, I mean at a high level summing up here, that Orisa is a tank character that has the ability to protect herself and teammates from incoming fire, while being able to fire a large number of rounds at the opposing team. Which to me, summed up like that, sounds a lot more D.Va than Reinhardt. Obviously Orisa's got the shield ability, which is very Reinhardt. And now that certainly works for defence. I mean, D.Va's obviously got the boosters and the ability to be a pretty good attacking sort of tank. So the question then is if Orisa is like a D.Va pre-nerf, where obviously D.Va had a lot more health and was a lot more of a tank than she currently is, was the nerf to D.Va not necessarily entirely but partly due to the knowledge that Orisa was going to be launched? Now obviously the D.Va patch and nerf was done not that long ago, and I don't know what the lead time is on a new character, but by the fact it ties into the lore you have to imagine that it's at least a few months. So Blizzard would know of Orisa's upcoming announcement and release prior to D.Va getting nerfed. Now I think part of what makes this somewhat more believable is the fact that it's been previously said by Blizzard that they don't want any two heroes doing the same thing with the same abilities. So while obviously there's a lot of similarities between heroes, none of them quite do the same. And I think if you ended up with Orisa being released as he has so far in the PTR, and we had D.Va released it still in a pre-nerf state, then they actually would, for the most part, be very similar heroes. And I wonder if they were too similar for Blizzard to allow that to happen, so something had to change with D.Va. But it's just a bit of an idea that came to me the other day. But let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below, and I'll catch you all later.